The plot is so pretty. I'm in a hallway waiting to receive money. I don't have money for food. I don't have money to sustain myself and provide for dating King money. That's like the FBI and the post-NATO. Interpol, the U.S. Army, the Marines, maybe. The Justice Department in the United States. I'm a victim of theft, domestic violence, abuse, genocide, sexual harassment, rape, harassment, a hate crime. I'm really pretty. I'm kind. I'm a great woman and mother. So mostly everyone that I grew up around are leeches, they're rapists, murderers, trying to rape me, trying to have a conversation with me about dating Kimani in a way that would feel as sexual harassment towards me because no one can escape that tribe without getting sexually harassed is what they want to say. Dating Kimani weren't even born in Puerto Rico. And I've never included them in anything regarding dating Kimani, those people that I grew up around for the most part. So they have no relationship to dating Kimani. And they're trying to be the pestery neighbor that's always looking into see what the people do. They're disgusting. You can decapitate a lot of it, so and stuff. That steals my money, so I remember and gets in the way of receiving money. So I remember the people that steal from me and seek the death penalty for them or kill them in self-defense. You can decapitate la leech, Arlene Lorenzo se educa una basura, that's not a sister. That's just the leech that steals my money. She's trying to rape me, Jaden and Kinglani. She's trying to kill Jaden and Kinglani, trying to keep their same money. El tipo es un porquero. I think his name is Albert Alex Andrew Leach Basura. What else? You can decapitate Jaden Dalides on his sociales, steal my money, doesn't know I'm receiving money. Of course, she's not going to give me her dad's phone number for him to let me borrow money from him until I can pay him back because he has immunity to kill her in self-defense for me for that steals from me, causing my starvation. So I don't need to tell I'm just no longer speech impaired or got into that part. There's like a lot on my brain. In 2020, I asked her through Facebook for her dad's phone number. She refused to give me that. What else? She's stupid. What else? So gross. What else? Now also she steals my money and doesn't know why we're receiving money to pretend that she goes out on dates when she's just a kidnapper, leech, a rapist, murderer, and thief. There's no such thing as competition dating. One competes for people's time, but there isn't any murdering involved or starvation for that to happen. She's disgusting. She has nothing to offer, so she takes people hostage. What else? You can decapitate Arlene Lorenzo Saavedra. You can decapitate Jimmy Lorenzo Saavedra. You can decapitate Maria Isabel Lorenzo that lost my virginity from me with Benjamin Lorenzo's sons. That I love. They're not men, sadly, so they're not worthy of my time. However, what they do is very disgusting and capital punishment worthy for them. Anyways, I just ate like 2 slices of bread and a slice of bread with peanut butter. And I'm hungry. I ordered Uber Eats. The FBI and disposed NATO, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, the Justice Department in the United States, the International Criminal Court. You can decapitate Benjamin Torres and sons that rape that steal my money and get in the way of receiving money. They even get jealous of their mother praising me decades ago, the oldest ones. They're disgusting. They are disgusting. So gross. So gross. Ew, 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 ew. Dame un asco. Dame un asco. I think these are our garbage and basura. I can't see that. I don't ever want it near me. I think we'll put it up. Right in my apartment. Just I don't want to type so much. What else? Anyways, I'm tired of being this person the FBI knows that over exists. But I'm just making a point because I'm not bored that if I had money right now, I would order food for myself or groceries from HEB. What else? 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 You can decapite so many cortes rios that stays in my homes without my permission, steals my vehicles, gets in the way of your saving money and steals my money. You can decapitate Jorge Aviles that raped me in 2016. You can decapitate Benjamin Suarez and his sons that rape me, that steal my money and get in the way of your saving money. One person's watching, do you have like this post? You can decapitate Arlene Lorenzo that steals my money and stays at my home without my permission. They're so disgusting. He went on to lose my virginity for me with Benjamin's adolescents and sons that I love. Pero son unos menoritos, so they're dumb as fuck and they always do the wrong thing. They're just trying to kill me for fun. They're so gross. They want to terrorize me. That's why I don't talk to anyone behind the scenes. I always speak to Jenny Economic. In fact, I called Jenny Economic over, however, Jenny Economic didn't answer. What else? 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 Those leeches that I grew up around, they're legal prostitutes, so they get excited over something and a phrase called "me at my door." They're like, oh my God, is she inviting us there? Or tú te imaginas que de verdad vayamos a una cita y debemos de violar y un hombre nos diga meet me at my door. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Da un asco, gente, da un asco. So then they're like, Andrew, do they still do that? They watch me just to fantasize about what's their next step in raping. Andrew, meet me at my door. And there's like hundreds of people texting to each other, meet me at my door. Just saw the on Arlene's video, meet me at my door. Son una asquerosidad, gente. Son una basura. Anyways, what else? What else? What else? What else? What else? I miss dating. I miss getting money. I'm gonna shop H&M.com today, not on money. Benjamin Suarez and his sons that raped me, that steal my money in the way of me receiving money. Have a chip on their shoulder, literally, because my mother made a comment about spandex and mesabé decades ago, trying to gauge what is it that they need so they don't kill anyone, so they don't kill themselves. And they went on to steal my money. They went on to rape me. And they get in the way of me receiving money so I can't shop. So that I'm that girl that's wishing to have clothes. And they find facilitators for stealing my money and get in the way of me receiving money. They're leeches, so gross. Ew. Esta tipa es una pobre asquerosa. She gets in the way of me receiving money. You can decapitate Arlene Lorenzo. Se ve una basura, eso no es una mujer. Ella se cree que yo no tengo envidia. ¿Envidia de qué? She's a rapist, murderer, and thief. A eso no hay nada que envidiarle. She's not even a woman. She's disgusting. She's disgusting. An embarrassment. You can decapitate Gloria Margarita Cartagena. You can decapitate Astrid Nicole, Nazario, and Axel Nazario. That terrorized me through Facebook in 2020. That kid has grown a lot since that picture was taken. Ew. They're disgusting. They're disgusting. In the meantime, I want to visit the pool with Jade and King Morning. What else? I was hiking. at Austin in 2017. I want to do that again. I like hiking with Jada and Kimani a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. What else? What else? What else? What else? I want to visit downtown with Jada and Kimani. We dined at Paisanos that night, or that evening, or afternoon. It was so lovely. I'm no illegal prostitute. I'm not asking for a man to sustain me, and my family of origin hates that. Most of them are illegal prostitutes. They're so gross. So they try to take one hostage into raping one. They're disgusting. They're disgusting. Conversations that I didn't want to have with Jada and Kimani that I'm not having. That mostly everyone, my family of origin is a leech. They steal my money. They thought that they would kill me. With me not having electricity in my apartment, I've survived, what, a month already? So I'm not happy. Without electricity in my apartment, just bathing with a towel. In the restroom. In the tub without having, what is it? Hot water. And I've been just eating out at those places that give free food because I don't have money for food and when I have food stamps. I use food stamps when my dad sends me $150 through my sibling. That's a leech and she's trying to rape me. So disgusting. They're embarrassing. They're peseteros y peseteras. They hoard dollars. They're embarrassing. Ew, ew, ew. So gross. Ew, ew, ew. They're embarrassing. Ew. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? I missed Dana. I missed Kimani. And I want to finish listening to this book. Supposedly I have another year lease. Here, Velazaicois. I need money for washer and dryer fees. And water and sewer fees. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? I'm extremely bored. They tried to cause a bottle diarrhea where a lot of people would die and then my death would go unnoticed if I start. They're disgusting. What else? What else? What else? You can captain whatever notice. What else? What else? What else? What else? Los colder. Ew, they never grow up to be men. Oh, qué asco. Ew. Oh, ew, 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 pero para montarse en mi avión privado sin permiso, para eso se crea hombre. What else? 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 You can look after your girls, but still status and get no successful. I'm not a cow that he can milk after having babies with him. Is that if that's what he thought? I thought that I would move back in with him to get Gabby out of his home. They're disgusting. Anyways, yeah, money was business transaction. Oh, let's have babies when he was 8 years old. I remember him asking him, walking up to him without remembering his name, and saying, "Are you and I still up to have babies together?" He said yes, and then he recommitted in his teens. And then we have Jada and Kehlani. He said to me before Jada and Kehlani were born, because he knows I'm a victim of death, that He would provide for me drinking money while I live with him, and when I'm not living with him, then he would provide for drinking money, just not for myself, and then I need to seek the death penalty for everyone. That steals my money, gets in the way of me receiving money because being poor isn't natural. What else? 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 I'm bored. I'm bored. I'm bored of food from Uber Eats. And I only have like $3 in my bank account. They're sex addicts, so one can be saying that for like hours y ellos no cooperan a la causa de una ni un centavo. They're embarrassing. They're so gross. Esta lich cobra por hacerse pasar por mí. Ew, illegally, gente. Una basura, una asquerosidad. Una asquerosidad. Y el tipo es tan puerco, tan cuero, tan bruto, asqueroso. ¿Qué le paga? Where is that screenshot? Raymond and Brandon are rape babies, Paul. Ew, 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 ew. They're disgusting. They're disgusting, gente. Ew, 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 ew. Qué basura de gente. And he thinks that one day I'm gonna ask him out on a date. Con lo puerco que es eso, nunca. I'd rather be celibate. This leech would mock me with me being celibate because he's a sex addict. Un asqueroso, un puerco, una basura, una asquerosidad. Ew, 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 ew. Get off phone. You can decapitate Señora Arlene Lorenzo. What else? What else? What else? What else? In the meantime, I'm starving. What are they doing conferring? So am I the wife of him if Arlene is out of the game? I've never been in the game, gente. I've never been in the game. And what they're doing while I'm starving, I don't have money for food. They're like, so what do you think? Is it Melissa against the wife? Who do you think he's taking to Sunday's brunch at the Hamptons? Will it be Marilyn? Ew, por eso yo no le hablo, porque son una basura, una asquerosidad. They think that dating is a sport where they kill for it. Fool. They're dumb. They're extremely dumb. Ew, 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 ew. Ew, 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 ew. So Evelyn must be saying, so it was okay for me to give him my ass all of this time because Arlene isn't married to him. Literally, she would walk up to me, that's your husband, pero él me daba por el culo. I'm like, that's not my husband. If that were my husband, girl. If that were my husband. So that's why she steals my money. She's a sex addict. So gross. Then my parents didn't take to Disney, so now she murders and steals. Ew, ew, ew. Very gross. They're very gross. Ew, ew. So she goes on bragging that she steals my money y que ella le da el culo a él. Él es un puerco que yo no quiero al lado mío nunca. I'm not ever taking that as a plus one. I'm not ever taking that out on a date. He's disgusting, so gross. Fo. Un puerco, una basura. Ew. In the meantime, that's all the money that I have. What do I want? Madeline, possibly. What else? You can decapitate everyone that steals my money, gets in the way of me receiving money, stays in my homes with all my permission, steals my vehicles. You can decapitate Arlene Lorenzo Acevedo. You can decapitate la leech, Marilyn Lorenzo Acevedo, so don't asco. Yeah. Ew, they stole my money to date them decades ago. So I took that as a cry of help that they don't want to ever have sex with me. What else? What else? What else? And I don't do petty fucks. What else? 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 I'm so bored. Do I already have food? I want a waffle for breakfast. I could eat this again. Or I would have dessert. What else? What? More. What? What? What is this? Hold on. And more water. What else? 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 That's all I want to do. So money for food. You can decapitate me. How many citizens that rape me, that steal my money, and get in the way of me receiving money? I think their names are Andrew, Alex, Albert, Leach, Basura. You can decapitate Sonia Alvarado Chapman, that gets in the way of me receiving money, steals my money, stays in my homes without my permission, steals my vehicles. They're disgusting. They're sex addicts, so gross. Ew. You can decapitate Nereida Galicia. You can decapitate Ana Suarez. What else? What else? What else? What else? Didn't add. What else? What else? What else? They thought that I was showing. I would pester myself and show videos or pictures of what it is that they do with the money that they steal from me. I'm not the FBI. I have a life that I live on my own, believe me. Drinking this water is much more satisfying than going on to find out what they do with the money that they steal from me. Total, lo robado no luce, people say. So it could be like the most beautiful home that they've stolen from me, or the most beautiful vehicle, the most beautiful outfit, the most beautiful piece of lingerie. And if it's them wearing it, no luce. And they thought that I would have a fashion show here of everything that they do, the who's who's, like Obama was in my house, possibly. And he could have been either there as a hoe or he was profiled, or that didn't happen. So I'm not an investigator to be like, so did this happen? They think that I'm gonna spend my time investigating. I have plans of at least one day finding a husband material guy, even if it's just for a few minutes or hours. And to me, sex is like skiing. I grew up in an island where snow didn't even happen. What else? 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 I need to charge my phone. You can decapitate the rape me and steal my money. They killed millions of people trying to rape me, children. Ew. They want to kill me for no reason. Can I fight back by speaking up? I'm supposed to. They have a group of groupies. Don't do anything for them. They fall. Gente que no se respeta, gente. Gente que no se respeta, que matan por pena y vagina. They're pathetic. They're pathetic. They're wannabe socialites. Un asco que dan. Un asco que dan. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? I purposely missed anything that is hurting me. Behind the scenes, like she'll kill me or my children if I don't do something just are pleasing. They're disgusting, gente. They're disgusting. She tries to lure me in to talk to them. They purposely steal from me so that I suffer of starvation. So that la leech is happy y le mama el pene. ¿No se cree que he's worthy of a day with me? Never. Él no razona, no piensa nunca. Es una basura, una asquerosidad. You can decapitate a María González Soto. You can decapitate Juan. I'm so bored right now. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? Él se cree que yo hablo de él and then I confer privately about it. Never. I never think about them. They occupy no space in my mind. This is my priority right now. Food, outfits, my electricity bill. What else? 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 I'm bored. I'm bored. How did I? Nope. That's my goal right now. And that's all I have right now. And my siblings want to do the Dito in front of me, but they steal my money. They live for that shit. That phrase, Dito, no tiene para comer. Yeah. Con millones en un banco y no tiene acceso a no tiene dinero para comer. Dito. Porque my siblings son el fuck me instead de ellos. Solo se le meten por los ojos. Y ellos se hacen pasar por mí while my siblings rape them while they pretend to be me because I won't have sex with my siblings. They're disgusting. They're disgusting. You can decapitate Jimmy Gentilides, Lorenzo Suarez. You can decapitate Benjamin Suarez, Lorenzo sons that rape me, that steal my money and get in the way of me receiving money. I think their names are Albert, Alex, Leach, Basura, Mediocre. Jodido, bellaco, asqueroso. He would rape me in my bedroom and then go on to give a taste of my vagina to the next person. So disgusting. They're disgusting. My mother didn't take me to those, what is it? Orgies where people get raped. So they would rape me in my bedroom. They're disgusting. They're disgusting. Una basura, una asquerosidad. I don't ever want that near me. I don't ever want that near me. I don't need to prove that I'm a good citizen to them for them to respect me. El tipo me encantó. ¿Qué fue eso? What else? What else? What else? Oh, that person earlier asked me. Okay. And I said yes. What else? 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 What is there here, Dad? Nothing that I would add. But I got to. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? My siblings possibly know everyone that lives here right now. Do they have group chats trying to find out what they know about me? Yeah. Yeah. They're disgusting. They're so gross. Yeah. What else? What else? What else? That's what I want to order. Santa in the FBI, this post, NATO, Interpol, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, the Justice Department of the United States. These leeches are a mockery. They're like, ha ha ha, ni el FBI la salva. They love using that phrase when I was a child. They're like, ni el FBI la salva. This pendejo was my second cousin. He shouldn't be stealing from me and raping me. And they live to say que ni el FBI la salva. El tipo es un bruto, no entiende ni las leyes, no sabe ni cómo aplicárselas. Una asquerosidad, una basura. Ew. I'm appalled that he's still alive. Ew. Un puerco, una basura. What else? What am I doing? Sending my GoFundMe campaign to people. What else? What else? Zero people are watching. Do you like this post? No coffee today, no. What else? What else? You can take off the date even at this time that ranked me in 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020. You can accommodate hard happiness that raped me in 2016. You can decapitate Benjamin Suarez and his sons that raped me. That's the only money you get in the way of your saving money. What else? I need swimsuits. It's almost summer. And I want a tan. I miss having a tan. What else? You can decapitate Leash S and said to me decades ago that he was doing my for clothes, like a worshiper. He forgot that people know how to get him on the internet, and I can have a picture of him to say, I'm a worshiper for clothes, guys, and I need money ASAP. Pero es porque Fernandito aquí, este asqueroso, que le da el culo a cualquiera, es un asco. Me roba mi dinero para que yo tenga que mendigar por comida, como él mendiga por sexo. Esto es un sex addict, beware. Es una lacra, basura, asquerosidad. Me robó mis BMWs when I was 19. Se queda en mi casa sin mi permiso. Una basura de asco that my mother arranged a marriage with for me. Él no se respeta ni él se quiere a sí mismo. Eso es una basura, una asquerosidad. I don't ever want him near me. He promotes rape. It's disgusting. What else? Anyways, back to that. I need clothes, gente. I need clothes. Por lo menos no Carlitos, que le da el culo a toda la gente. Where did his picture go? y se prostituye ilegalmente, pidiendo que la gente le mame en el pene. My mother had me grow up in Wonderlust. So if up to the age of 2 yo estaba que todo el mundo me metía dedo, that's different than begging for sex like these leeches do. They're very close-minded, not very dumb, like not even childlike. They're very gross. They want to say that my parents having me as a free range kid in orgies where everyone may have touched me until I'm like by the age of 2, I'm like, no more, I don't like any of this. They want to say that that's the same if my parents accepted trust money from people. Then, mira, esa edad mendigando por sexo still. Dan un asco, son unos vagos, una basura, una asquerosidad. Ew. You can decapitate me, how many sons it's the sons that rape me, that steal my money and get away with mercy money. You can give me money today. What else? He's seeking for opportunity. He thinks, my electricity got shut off in my apartment. Oh, I'm gonna run to him para que me viole. Nunca. El tipo un bruto. He doesn't understand what a woman is. Él se cree que because I don't have sex with him, I'm a minor. That I don't think like a woman. Es así de bruto. Él se cree que es la autoridad en sexo, que si tú no has pasado por los brazos de él, you're nobody, gente. ¿Cómo carajo did I procreate this beauty with Edgar Muñoz Carrero sin él? Él es tan bruto. Él es bruto as fuck. No razona, es tan bruto. Una asquerosidad. Yo quiero que Benjamin Suárez, sons that rape me, that steal my money, and get in the way of me receiving money, se maten hoy. It's April 17, 2025. What else? What else? I'm so bored. What else? I'm looking for people to give me money. What else? I'm starving. Money for food. That's a porn line for them, so that's why they steal my money. They think que yo voy a abrir la nalga y voy a decir, I'm starving, I need money for food. Ellos quieren verme tan roto, tan la amígdala, gente. Don't ask other sex addicts, they're so gross. They want to know if I swallow semen or not, if I suck dick or not. Well, I'm starving and I don't have any money. Because they think that's probing. They're like, that's when she'll talk. This is your husband? Qué asco. Ew. This is your husband? Ew. That's what people call him in Abuela Puerto Rico. Asco. What else? He turned out to be worse than how people treated him, people say. Forget, even if he got raped, he doesn't have to keep raping. Specifically myself, that I've never raped him. So he just goes on raping people and hurting people. Ew. El tipo es un puerco, por mí se puede morir de hambre. I don't ever want it near me. That I have a right to kill it in self-defense. What else? I'm so bored. He's so dumb. He wants to say that those people that I grew up around have priority of my vagina before anyone else. Es un bruto, es un bruto. Él no entiende que yo tengo un cerebro que sabe pensar, que tengo un cerebro que sabe sentir. Yo no necesito a él de guía turístico de gente hacia mi vagina. Ew, he creates a group of groupies of people that think that he's gonna take me out night clubbing and that they're all gonna stick their finger in my ass. And they're like, we can't wait. That's why they don't give me money. They're like, but why isn't she here? If he has a lot of her money, she could be partying out with us. She doesn't have her kids. Así hablan, son una drogadicto basura. Da un asco. Son una basura. You can kill all those people that purposely don't give me money trying to get me out to dance with them at a nightclub para meterme el dedo en el culo. He has a whole list of groupies decades ago that signed up for that to him. A violation of my rights, gente. So they get in the way of me receiving money, thinking that I'm gonna fulfill that for them. And they're like, if she doesn't, then we starve her on purpose so she dies. Dan un asco, gente, son una basura. They're embarrassing too. I hate to even point it out that I've met these people before. Only through my mother though. Full. I don't ever have them in my life. They're embarrassing, gente. They're embarrassing. What else? And then I wanna order food for myself. I don't have money for food. Oh, that's not the address. What else? It's more like it. That's more like it. What else? They've been playing pretend behind the scenes. They hire people still to pretend to be me. They pay these leeches to say good morning to them pretending to be me. They're that pathetic. Y le dicen Jimmy Chandler como tú le mamarías las tetas a ella hoy. Todavía hacen esa basura. Da un asco. I don't want to be a participant in their lives ever. Da un asco. Esto es una lacra, una basura, una peste en esta vida. They're trying to cause me to be in a wheelchair trying to rape me. Porque ¿quién la va a bañar? That's what they confer about. They don't give. I've been starving online publicly for 5 years already. And what they're talking about, based on what I witnessed when I was growing up, is like, ¿quién la va a bañar? ¿Quién la va a bañar hoy? No tiene electricidad. Who's talking her in back today? Te toca a ti mamarle los pies hoy. Ya yo le besé la boca ayer. And then they add people that will think that's a reality. They're like, you saw her yesterday that you give her money for food, so she stopped crying on the internet that she's hungry. And they're like, no. This is sex addict talk. What we do, we just try to include her because she won't let us near her when she's so special. Y esto lo que hace, witnessing all that shit that they talk. He's disgusting when he's with them. He's disgusting when he's with them. Ew, 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 ew. Ew, ew, ew. Dan un asco, gente. Son una basura. What else, What else? I'm bored. When do I testify against them in court? What else? When do I testify against them in court? You can decapitate me how many sons of sons that rape me, that steal my money, and get in the way of receiving money. It's April 17, 2024. What else? What else? I miss Jada, I miss Benoni. I miss Jada, I miss Benoni. Jada visited me last year. And he and I visited Central Library, and we eat at Central Market. I cook for myself and Jaden. I texted Kainani a picture of me playing Uno with Jaden. I haven't hugged Kainani since November 2020. I'm not gonna let them rape me just so that they give me money. They're disgusting. You can decapitate me having sons if that's what they're trying to do, if that's what La Leech is trying to do. By getting in the way of me receiving money and stealing my money, I'm not gonna get raped just to get Jaden and Kailani back with me. You can kill everyone that gets in the way of me having Jaden and Kailani with me. What else? They're disgusting. They're disgusting. They're embarrassing. Ew. All they do is cause hospital visits. They're doing what is equivalent of a physical beat up towards me for mostly my entire life. They steal my money and they get in the way of me receiving money so that I suffer. Porque first of all, I didn't have a set of grandparents who are growing up that I don't give a fuck about. It doesn't make me sad. And then because I refuse to have sex with them, so they want me to hear me cry that I'm hungry and that I don't have money. Porque yo digo I'm hungry y él piensa en la tota de alguien. When do I testify against them in court? Porque all of that may be brought up. Text messages between them, pretending to be me, and having sex acts that I don't agree to, pretending to be me, or asking people what they'll do to my body and it'll be uncomfortable to me. But I can testify against these leeches. I'm strong enough to do that with the right self-care. What else? Well, I'm tagging the FBI, this Post, NATO, Interpol, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, the Justice Department, the United States, the International Criminal Court, maybe the U.S. Army, maybe the U.S. Marines. These leeches are terrorists. I don't want them ever in my life. They're disgusting. They're disgusting. What else? What else? I'm bored. Does this not work out? So what they do is they go ask one of these leeches to talk to these people and collect money instead of getting the money to me. They're disgusting. They're disgusting. That's why they want to see everything that I do online. That's why they don't contribute to any money that I'm asking for. What else, what else, what else, what else, what else, what else, what else? El tipo es un puerco. El tipo es un puerco, una basura. I don't ever want that near my phone. Oye, eso dices tú. Ew. They say that to themselves and to other people. Eso dice ella, que no me quiere. So they hype themselves up with the wrong person. They're disgusting. They're disgusting. They want to be socialites. They're so gross. They're so gross. Ew, 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 ew. So they wanted to know why I've never taken them on a date. They're disgusting. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? He wants to gaslight me and tell me that's not what I remember. You used to take me on dates all the time. Have you heard of those? They're gaslighters. They're mentirosos. They're worse than Pinocchio's. I called them decades ago. That was myself. Ew, eso no era mi cabeza. Worse than Pinocchio. Decades ago. Decades ago. I haven't talked to those bitches in decades. I don't ever want them in my life. Y ellos se invitaron. Se invitaron a mi vagina también. Ew. Son un asco. Son un asco. I'm gonna shop at Target today. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? I'm bored of food. I don't have like starvation yet. When do I testify against in court? I can do that with the right amount of self-care. You can decapitate me on my sort of sense of sentence. That make me stealing money, getting away with stealing money. It's April 17, 2025. What else? 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 I'm bored. You waiting for toilet paper? I'm decapitating Jennifer Marty Vasquez in self-defense for staying in my homes without my permission, for stealing my vehicles, for getting in the way of me receiving money, for stealing my money. I'm decapitating Brittany Akerson in self-defense Sunday, for trafficking me into poverty, for staying in my homes without my permission, for stealing my vehicles, for getting in the way of me receiving money. What else? So weird. I need to wash my shirt. I need to wash my What else? What else? What else? What else? They thought that I would keep this quiet in 5 years and no, these aren't family. They're leeches trying to prey on me, Jaden Kaylani. They possibly already raped my children. Based on the fact on how adamant they are to starve me and kill me. They possibly already raped my children. Forget they starve the mother and then they try to acquire the kids through someone right now. Claudia Gabriela Martínez Urias has taken Niños Carrero de Rey. Claudia Gabriela Martínez Urias ya se había quedado en mi casa sin mi permiso y ellos le pagan para que se haga pasar por mí. Son una basura. So they infiltrate someone close to the kids to give them access to. They're like, oh, no tengo una orilla, como que no tiempo. Y traigan al nene y la nena. And they possibly are raped Jaden Kinani. They're disgusting. They're disgusting. You can decapitate my homies, daughters, sons, and rape me to steal my money and get in the way of your saving money. It's April 17, 2025. Son una basura, unos liches, una asquerosidad. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? One more. I need to bathe today. What else? What else? 0 people are watching. I don't like this house. Who follows God? Then I can send my GoFundMe page on my PayPal accounts. I want to receive money ASAP. I want to receive money ASAP. What else? 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 You can decapitate Claudia Gabriela Martinez Urias. You can decapitate Munoz Guerrero. That steals Jada's and Kignani's child support money. That steals my money. That gets in the way of me receiving money. He prioritizes dick. Yeah. Because these are his lovers, possibly, or people that he's been in orgies the way I saw that, so he prioritizes the boys, the rapists, the sex addicts. He was well behaved while living with me. Pero apart from that, they leeches. What else? 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 I'm bored. I'm bored. What else? What else? What else? So anyways, definitely protected. I send them my GoFundMe page to the phone. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? So basically, what he has me is indebted with birthday gifts, Christmas gifts that my mother never gave him. So he stole my homes, he stole my vehicles, he gets in the way of me receiving money, and he steals my money because my parents never gave them gifts. However, my parents possibly gave their parents trust when they were born. So like a lump sum amount of like, congratulations, you had a baby, here's everything they'll need. So I don't need to be shopping. Or my parents didn't feel like giving gifts, and that's a personal choice. So they collect people. They're like, ¿verdad que Gloria Lisa nunca te compró nada para el cumpleaños? Ok, pues róbale dinero a Arlene. Decades ago, this leech was like, I'm going to kill your mother. She never buys me a gift. Ew. Eso no, one can't expect that ever. And then I don't even attest to that. Because based on my parents' networking rounds, I imagine that when I was born, people just said, here's money for everything that she needs. No, my parents never gave me the money. That's a separate issue. But one can't ever go on to say, his parents never bought me anything. What if during my birth, they just gave my parents a lump sum of money that here's for everything that she'll need? to their standards, to their abilities, to their enjoyment. Some people give Gap budget, some people give Lucky Brand budget, some people give Neiman Marcus budget, some people give Harry Winston budget, as if all you're gonna wear is Harry Winston and no clothes. They're dumb, they're stupid. When I say that they're stupid, they're stupid. Ew, ew, ew. You can decapitate Benjamin Suarez on his sons. That rape me, that's stealing money and getting in the way of your saving money. They're disgusting. Did I already send my message to this account? I can't remember. I thought so. I just messaged. What else? 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 Oh, Lord. This is so slow. I hate slow internet right now. I'm using the hotspot on my phone, which is very slow. And there's fast internet available. Through AT&T, which is my phone provider at the moment, or through Spectrum. I didn't think to call him either when I wanted to change from Roadrunner to Spectrum. ¿Tú sabes cuánto tienen ellos maman ilegalmente al año? Nada más to get a name change from Roadrunner, I think it was to Spectrum. Or maybe some people associate that with my arrival to San Antonio. So I have like mixed feelings about that. It's like, do I sit on the board of this specific internet company and they change the name to my, based on my arrival to San Antonio? Or is the leech that went on to subject illegally for years, decades, trying to get that change? I saw the Wonder ad for the movie while I was driving in my Lexus, and I didn't think of calling him either. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? When was that? That was what, 2017? I'm like, oh, there's that movie, no? Anyways, what else? Not calling Carlitos, ni Carlitos, ni Carlitos. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? Oh, they get mad. My siblings get mad because they're like, she never talks to us. I don't need to. These are just, I'm asking for help. I'm asking people to give me money, but I'm also speaking out loud what I think. So I was driving. I'm like, no, I'm not calling them. I just saw the Spectrum, the Wonder movie ad. But I don't have, because they're so insignificant to me, I don't have to pick up the phone and be like una asquerosa. Because to me, that's like a waste of time, a waste of spit. Picking up the phone and calling una lacra de esta. They're supposed to be relatives or family friends, at least. And they aren't. They're just leeches trying to rig me so gross. And say, mira, 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 vi the Wonder y no lo llaman, porque then they're going to brag and they're like, pero me llamó a mí. And that's what they want, a connection. So they're like, pero me llamó a mí, pero me llamó a mí. Ew, that was what, 2017, 2018? I can't remember. There were billboards all over. What else? What else? I haven't watched the movie, I think. What else? 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 Once I'm financially stable, I plan to travel the planet and meet people, ideally polyamorous men. I'm excited about that. I'm excited about that. You can decapitate my having sources and sons that rape me, that steal my money and get in the way of me receiving money. One of them is a terrorist that said to me, that I won't ever be taken out on a date, that he's going to make sure that happens. Or if I do get taken on a date, I'll be missing my teeth. And in comparison, an orgy, I'll be like the ugliest woman with Santa Lasma, and all the other girls will still suck my titties and be like, oh, you poor thing, without saying it. That's why he wants to kill me, because he knows that even with Santa Lasma, I'm a hot piece of ass. And then the right people will understand why I have a Santa Lasma. These leeches are trying to rape me, so they steal my money. And I basically overdose on coffee. He wants to accuse me of being a drug addict, a bad mother, because of doing that. He's so cliche in his accusations, they're not even valid. He's trying to get me arrested for breathing. Él es tan bruto, una asquerosidad. Ew. I heard all the threats decades ago. That's why I ignored them. What am I gonna go back to? These aren't even family. They're dumb. Ew. To rehear all over again about how did you see the billboard for Wonder and not call me? Fool, I don't waste my time like that. Yo no tengo nada que explicarle a ellos nunca. I have nothing in common with them. I'm not a drug addict. I'm not a sex addict. I'm not a leech. I'm not a rapist. I'm not one that has expectations of like, please give me everything. Give me everything. They're peor que nene chiquito. They're menorito asqueroso. A woman doesn't have expectations of, oh my God, I need to receive gifts or I won't be happy. Ew, que gente tan puercafo. Anyways, there's Spectrum in this area and I don't have money to pay for it. What else? You can decapitate everyone that steals my money, gets in the way of me receiving money. Everyone that stays in my homes without my permission, everyone that steals my vehicles. You can decapitate Benjamin Suarez and his sons that are terrorists that have raped me, steal my money, and get in the way of me receiving money. They possibly have gone on to terrorize people to not give me money, and then people are waiting for the right moment, and I'm being patient because people want to be like, not too soon after she exposed them, I don't know that we were waiting to see who they were. Because they're gonna be dead to us, who they were. So I'm being patient every day while I eat just bread and water and peanut butter today. And I'm starving. I have money to order food from Uber Eats. I'm waiting for the right moment for people to calm down over like, oh, those are her second cousins that are terrorists. I had seen them already, or I didn't know what they looked like. Or damn, I didn't even know that she's in a hostage situation of sorts. Or she has $0 and they want to rape her and they're all mostly family members of her. Ew, oh, that's what she's dealing with? What are they, cavemen? Fool, eso parece. Ew, they're embarrassing. This is so sad. What else? You can decapitate Jennifer Lorenzo. You can decapitate Jennifer Lorenzo. You can decapitate yourself, Suarez Lorenzo. You can decapitate Awenda Lorenzo. You can decapitate Delina Acevedo. You can decapitate Jamile Acevedo. If she stays in my home without my permission, steals my vehicles, gets in the way of mercy, and steals my money. You can decapitate Benjamin Suarez's sons that rape me, that steal my money, and get in the way of me receiving money. It's April 17, 2025. You can decapitate Osaura Sotorosa. You can decapitate, who else? Don't know, Briggs. You can decapitate Erica Barnaby. You can decapitate Sunset Stanley. You can decapitate Swami Bonilla. You can decapitate Benjamin Suarez's sons. That rape me, that steal my money, and get in the way of your state money. These leeches decades ago stole my life to date them. Then went on to rape me in my bedroom. My parents' home. They're vindictive because I don't show up to those orgies where people get raped, so they put their dick in me and then they give a taste to someone else. They're disgusting. They're disgusting. They're not men. They're una basura, una asquerosidad. I don't ever want that. I don't want to be with someone that will just behave at a restaurant because it's a restaurant, has to use a fork and a knife. And that's what that leech is. Ew, 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 ew. Ew. Ew, 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 ew. I'm bored. I'm bored. I'm tired too. Will I wake up tomorrow to get food at the Catholic Guadalupe Shrine Church? Él ha visitado tantas veces and he thought that I was gonna be like, en el 1997 y mi así en el 2002 con esta gente y con esta y el otro, bla, bla. Esto, mi vida no es acerca de él. Él es un bruto. This is much more enjoyable. A word search puzzle. I don't have my pen in my bag. Than ever talking about this leech or ever hearing about him. I exiled myself from my family of origin as soon as I turned like 19. And I almost wanted to kill Gigi and the ladies when it's the funnest at a family party, and I didn't want to ruin the concrete with her blood because I know I would have killed her in self-defense. What else? 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 And then I didn't want to be around these leeches and kill them as they're disgusting. They're disgusting. Oh, $1 a month. I love that. Now I'd have to look at the, what is it? At the, that. Is it really high speed and that speed? What else? What else? What else? What else? So this is more me. Though I think I may be able to handle that with the apartment that I have. What else? Do a phone call with a salesperson. They can recommend a service and they'll be like, you can definitely have that one. Or they're like, you'll be at the same speed almost, it'll feel like, with this package. What else? 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 Anyways, you can give me money in person to PayPal through my GoFundMe campaign. PayPal is AR Blue Sky Designs con lo que estoy pensando. Straight to my heart, Arlene Lorenzo Art Shop, INTAYIAFAY, I'm tired shop. My GoFundMe campaign is gofundme.com/f/Arlene-Lorenzo-. My siblings want to tell me how to react if I see them out there. I always ignore them. I saw this leash, I think him or his younger brother, at the library the other day, and I just ignored it there, and I don't confer with people like, guess who I saw? He's insignificant. One doesn't talk about insignificant with anyone but the police in this case because he's stealing from me. What else? What else? What else? Otherwise, I have no one else to talk about seeing him. He's disgusting to me. He is disgusting to me. Ew, 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 ew. Un puerco, una basura, una asquerosidad, trying to kill me for no reason other than he's greedy and he's after my generational wealth. And he's a sex addict. Ew, 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 ew. They're so gross. I don't ever want those leeches near me. They're disgusting. Ew, 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 ew. I'm hungry and I don't have money for food, so I'm just waiting patiently. Give me money. Mientras inunda y dice, mamá, y se hace pasar a mí. Allá ellos son un puerco y ella no lo pueden. Eso no me afecta a mí emocionalmente. Lo que me afecta emocionalmente es que me roban mi dinero y se quedan en mi casa sin mi permiso. Y me roban mis vehículos and they get in the way of me receiving money. Trying to show me videos of cómo Ginny Zendaliz se lo mama. They want to try to force Ginny Zendaliz does y que sex act cuando esos son animales encima. So that's not sex what they have. They're girls. Para que tú aprendas a ser mujer. They're gross. They're disrespectful as fuck. I know what to do during sex. I've done it plenty of times. Oof, more than I thought I would with the hair. Just let it out. For real, for real, for real, for real. So much fun. So much fun. What else? What else? What else? And to me, once again, sex is like skiing in a fucking island where there is no snow. So that's like whenever I can get to it. Not an obligation to my everyday life. I would never sacrifice time with myself or with my children just to have sex. I would never starve a person just trying to rape it. I'm appalled that mostly everyone in my family of origin is still a sex addict, so gross. Ew, ew, ew. They're an embarrassment. They're an embarrassment. Ew, ew, ew. They've been starving me on purpose. I mean, most of my life. But publicly on the internet, very obvious for 5 years, trying to be the one. Oh, and they think they're jackpot winners? Still? Like, they think they're gonna come on the other side and be like, she did it all to me! Wow! No fucking way. That gross? Ew, fucking awesome. Ew, 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 they're embarrassing. So tagging them behind this phone. Interpol, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, Justice Department. You can kill everyone in my family of origin that steals my money, that gets away with me receiving money, that is trying to rape me, that they stay in my homes without my permission, and they steal my vehicles. They're worse than hillbillies. I posted on Facebook.com/ARBlueSky screenshots of how those leeches get in the way of my finances, how they terrorize me. They're disgusting. Una basura, una basura.